play.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leymans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Hello guys, yes, we're back. The dynamic duo from yesterday is back, this time for Shanghai match. I believe this is the first Shanghai watch-along we do on the channel this week, although I'm not pretty sure. However, the match definitely, I think, is fitting for that. Carlos Alcaraz against Yuncheng Shang. In general, it's going to be a bit of a crazy day in Shanghai. I don't know how much outside courts, play we're going to get, because apparently it's probably raining even now. Although I'm not, I don't have the confirmation for that yet, let's just say. But on the main court, we actually have the top 4 players in the world.
Yeah, we do all back to back to back after this. I mean, it's supposed to be Alcaraz, Sinner, then Djokovic, then Zverev. And so pretty packed schedule. I think, so from that standpoint, those guys will get to play. But hopefully there'll be some more action on the outside courts, because there's a lot of other interesting matches. And yeah, you're right. This is under a roof. So that is that a recent thing? Did Shanghai used to always have a roof, or is this like something they just introduced?
Good question. I don't know, actually. I mean, there was a 4-year break at that event, so maybe they added it in the meantime. Or no, actually, I think they had a roof for a while. I don't remember. Some of these memories from like 2010s from Shanghai are very fuzzy.
Yeah.
But I think it was always like one of these, venues where, okay, yes, it's an outdoor venue, but sometimes it's kind of, people even think it's indoors because it's just well built up and kind of. But I don't know. I'd have to check, honestly. Maybe I will in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, Carlos Alcaraz, Yuncheng Shang, 2 players who have already won a title in this Chinese swing, in this Asian swing, or actually both in China. So I can say in this Chinese swing. Of course, there is a certain favorite here, but I mean, it should be pretty close.
It should be, yeah. I mean, with the way that Jerry plays, being a lefty, and also like how like attacking his game style is in general, and just how this is kind of a player like made for the big stage. When I do watch him play, in terms of like his game and personality, like shining, particularly he'll have a lot of the crowd support. I expect it to be like, I don't know, kind of like a standard Saturday tight straight set match for the men's game. That's kind of my expectations. Like, if you were to ask me like before the match, like, how do you think it'll go? Probably leading something like a 3-4, 3-3, like that kind of a thing for Carlos. It's because I think it's still a different level, really. But I'm excited to see how Jerry like handles it, and also with Alcaraz, a quick turnaround from the Beijing final, which still is getting a lot of attention, deservedly so. One of the best matches all year. So
made less quick because of the decision from the Shanghai organizers here to give both Alcaraz and Sinner an extra day off compared to the other half of the draw, or compared to their half of the draw, the other players in there, which is actually why we have this insane lineup today on center court with all 4 players. Usually when you have that, when it's like the big names, you don't really expect much from these matches. I think this one is probably the best of today. Of course, there's going to be quite a lot of intrigue about Djokovic as well. Maybe about Zverev. I mean, he hasn't played since Laver Cup, has had these health issues, but Sinner definitely the one on center court we kind of expect to just breeze through today. So far, I mean, Alcaraz, perfect start, the break in the opening game to love. There was that funny point as well with the half volley that probably should have been eventually put away by Jerry, but there's a good reaction there from Carlos to get that. So not an ideal start for the Chinese, of course.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're talking about Djokovic. For me, he's the most interesting player in this draw because I just have no clue what to expect from him. Like nothing will really surprise me if he goes on a run, gets to the final. Won't be surprised. I won't be surprised if he loses early as well. Um, his section of the draw is also pretty interesting with like Tiafo in there, Popperin. Before I can't really see him losing his first two matches, to be honest. But like who knows? Because if he does do well here, maybe he'll decide to play Turin. I think it kind of just like hinges on what he does here, and if he feels like he can go to Turin and like actually, I don't know, win the title or like beat a lot of these top players, it's uh, going to be intriguing from that standpoint. And of course, Sinner and Alcaraz in the same half again, and the bottom half is very similar to a lot of the other tournaments we've had already this year with Fritz and Zverev and Musetti and other players in the Djokovic section. So. I wonder if you have any thoughts on Wu yesterday because he beat Jari 6-2, 6-1. I didn't see a ball of that match, but I was shocked that it was so.
There was some overreaction to this one, I think, generally. Like I've had somebody who is apparently following Yibing Wu like for his entire career tell me that this was like the best match that he has seen Yibing play. I don't know. I think that's watching the scoreboard rather than anything else, because
Okay.
that person also said like, okay, he was dominating his opponents, but this is different because it's the word number 25 or something like that. No, it's not different at all to me. But yeah, obviously he served extremely well compared to how we usually think of his delivery as more of a point starter, maybe rather than anything insane. And also, yeah, I mean, he was just so much more controlled of the ground, despite taking it early, despite basically limiting his margins as well in a way. And Jari did not really live up to the hand skills of Ibing with the ground. I mean, it was definitely great. He didn't need to spend all that much on the court, which is amazing. Baghdati seemed pretty satisfied with it as well. And yeah, I mean, he just gave himself a very good shot at being healthy in the third round, I suppose. It wasn't anything, astonishing, but of course, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it depends on your expectations. Like, I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised, but I also think of that guy like, extremely highly. So
Yeah. No, I remember watching like all of his matches when he won Dallas, like that week. I was just hooked on his game style and everything, and I watched the whole match against Isner, and obviously, like since then, it's been a litany of like injuries. But he was certainly a player to me that I was like, wow, like he could be inside the top 30 and get seated for majors. Like I thought he had that kind of quality. So kind of like where
I
Jerry is right now. Like I literally was that high on him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's even high, I think that's
Yeah.
obvious that if a guy wins an ATP Tour title, gets to like 50 around, I mean, top 30 is not really that big a leap. I mean, I think I'm on record saying somewhere that like he's as talented as like Nishikori is,
Yeah. I think I
which is
literally
not
said that
high.
when he won those. I compared him to K and I was like, wow, like this is the prototype. Like this is
It's a very easy comparison, right? I mean, you've got
yeah,
these like Southeast Asian glass cannons, and well, they have
yeah,
similar strengths even. And
yeah,
yeah, I don't think Ibing is like uh, you know, that much worse in that comparison. Not at all. So of course we don't know if he'll ever get there. He's been plagued since injuries since the very early days of his career, but
yeah. Very
hopefully there's still time and hopefully he can still do it.
yeah,
Cherry Shank definitely has to take this game and kind of get his head, get his mind, get his body into this match because it was
yeah.
starting to be a little scary for him there.
Mm-hmm. Alcaraz continued to go after the forehand early. A lot of well, really aggressive flat strokes so far on the backhand corner, like he loves to do, inside out, inside in, just kind of taking these balls early. Uh, but a lot of what we saw in Beijing. I'm looking at his section of the draw. I mean, after giving Wu possibly
Mm-hmm.
Ugo Humbert in the round of 16, which these are seem like good conditions for Ugo, right? I think he got to the quarters here last year. I think he's like, just this type of hard court really just suits him. I
They
wonder
are,
though
yeah.
coming off of the Tokyo. I wonder though coming off of the Tokyo final if there's going to be some fatigue or letdown or something. But yeah, I mean that is somebody that can challenge Carlos for sure. We saw it Wimbledon.
Yeah, I'd be a little bit more interested in that match if not for the Davis Cup one recently as well.
Oh yeah, those conditions were good for Carlos, but also he played really well. But
I mean, yeah, but they're not bad for Umber either. Like, he's fine
yeah,
on slower indoor courts too. He literally won Marseille this year.
oh yeah,
Okay, Marseille maybe was a little slicker. Maybe the bounce was a little lower, but
yeah. Potentially Tommy Paul. I think Sinner's round of 16 and quarterfinal is definitely more challenging. Although unless I don't know, like Stefano Tsitsipas this week, like does something big or something, beats Daniel Medvedev in the round of 16. Which it actually kind of crept up on me. I was like, wow, like they're a match away from playing each other. It's kind of been a while that they've even met.
yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't
Maybe
really been
he's
giving it too much of a thought because one of these players seems completely irrelevant at the moment. But he did post a
I
pretty
know,
decent
but he
win.
did. But I thought he played pretty well against Nishikori, and I think
He
there's
did.
more urgency right now to just somehow try to get that last spot. That maybe, well, he would need like another really big, like 2 really big weeks, really. But like, it's kind of a mess between those players, sort of Djokovic and below.
Yeah, we talked about it in detail yesterday that like no one really there is like guaranteed to get 400 points. They all have their issues. So Steph definitely could be
Mm.
the one that takes advantage. But yeah, for that he has to win like 500 points, and on hard courts it feels like this year he's gotten about 500 points in general. So
Yeah, I think ATP was like 14 and 10 or something on hard this year.
yeah, like almost
Yes,
50%, a little above 50%, yeah. And especially recently, it's been even like down below 50% or close to 50%. Well, Jerry might be getting into this match a little bit. Of course, that approach from Alcaraz could have been hit into a better target, but that's the pass that Jerry is able to produce. And also, I think I read this is very random, but you just said about like Tsitsipas and his season, and I just read a tweet from Pavi G yesterday, who was talking
okay.
about the Vukic win over Ruud, and he said that Kasper's disappointing season continues, and it's just so funny to me when people do this when
Yeah.
he's like 90% qualified for the ATP finals.
Yeah, recently, like he's lost 5 of his last 16 matches, but that's just sheer recency bias because, like,
I
look at
think
his
that was
first.
Bagdatis, by the way, in the
One.
crowd in the crowd as well. So he's scouting already.
Oh, but like yeah, like his last good result was like the I don't know Olympic quarterfinal, where he just keeps on losing to Felix this year. But
He
since
can lose all his matches until the end of the season, and it's still a good year because he made the ATP finals. I mean, what are your expectations of Casper Ruud? Like, do you want him to
but
be
is he
top
gonna
two in the
make it for
world?
sure? Where is he at right now? He's at number 6, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's gonna
I
make the
think it
ATP
looks very
finals like
likely. Yeah,
100%.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't make it. You're right. Um,
Of course,
and I
it's not
think in
secured
2022,
mathematically,
if
but
I remember, he didn't do anything after the U.S. Open final until and then he just made the ATP finals final, right? Like he didn't do anything before, basically from U.S. Open final till Turin, or I don't think he did anything. Like no results really for like 2 months. But then he showed up at the ATP finals and played pretty well. So
yeah. Bagdatis kind of looks like he has seen a ghost. I think he's scared of the Carlos level so far.
yeah,
I mean, definitely not struggling to get into the conditions so far.
no.
We
it's
are
good
actually
stuff.
going to be beginning play on outside courts, it seems, as well. That's
Okay.
good.
That's very good. Yeah.
Watanoki Nakashima, Shevchenko Serundolo, Rublev Menchik. Think we only have the roof on one court in Shanghai, but seems like at least for now there is a window for them to play. And of course, me and Vansh are very interested in the Watanoki Nakashima clash. Not necessarily for the same reasons, but we are. But yeah, this is what we were expecting from the Alcaraz Shang matchup. Definitely the sort of intense shot making that we're watching right now. I think that well, this kind of rally that we now have at 40-30 is precisely what we came here for.
Watanabe, of course, a very talented ball striker, but he has had a lot of injuries this year, right? Like he didn't play like
From
anything for
February,
like
he
4 or
didn't
5
play
months.
until like September. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the issue that he had?
I wish I remembered. I mean,
Yeah. He hasn't
yeah,
really been on for like over a year. So
he had a surgery of sorts. I mean, I don't.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have memory for that ever. Knee apparently.
Okay. I think I saw him at the end of 2023 wear like some kind of a knee brace. So that does make sense. Brendan's still a pretty sizable favorite in that match, right? But obviously it could get tricky.
The thing is, I think matches like this are always very unpredictable because Nakashima, like his style is about like limiting risk in his game, like almost no risk taken, whereas Watanoki is the other way around. So like, what can you really say? Like if Watanoki plays his best tennis, I think he's simply going to win. It's just that Watanoki can't play his best tennis over the course of
He's gonna have to
know,
sustain it
2.5
for a
hours.
really long time, which
Yeah, he's just like gonna red line
Brandon is not
for
gonna get
two
all
and a
that
half
much.
hours to win, which how likely is that? I don't know, but but like yeah, if he plays his best tennis, I think Brandon literally is a little left for answers because is like lost for answers because most players are. But yeah, I mean it's all about repeating that. Obviously, that's something that Watanabe has been struggling with his entire career. Needless to say. Although I actually remember him saying that he felt like in 2022 he wasn't playing like aggressively enough, and then he kind of had to take this mindset change. I don't know. I mean, obviously when he played well against Kotov in the last 5 games, really there was like nothing that the Russian could do. But yeah, maintaining that for the entire match, it's tough. Hasn't had that many wins of this quality either. Like last year, there were a lot of close matches, including here in Shanghai against Fritz. But yeah, actually getting the wins, that was not easy for him.
Yeah. Shang immediately in trouble in this 5th game here. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to need some help from Carlos at the very least. And so far, it's like kind of not really coming along. That point in the previous game at 40-30 was a little brutal as well, like such an intense rally. And then Carlos finds the line on that narrow forehand.
Popyrin
This looks
versus
pretty good for
Kecmanovic.
Shang, though.
Kecmanovic and Popyrin haven't played in over 4 years.
Yeah.
Or sorry, 3 years actually.
Indian Wells 2021, yeah.
No,
So
3
like
years.
maybe even less than 3 years, Vansh, because Indian Wells October edition.
Yeah. So it's been same 3-1 I think for Kecmanovic. That one's also a little bit like could go either way maybe.
Yeah, that one just seems very irrelevant to me, to be honest.
Winner plays no, because the reason I actually think the winner of that match, well, I mean actually the winner of that match could maybe even get to the quarters. Like Dimitrov right now is like not healthy, right? And then like Tiafoe, who really knows with his motivation post US Open, and like
Yeah,
maybe
I
like
think Tiafoe can
Sakulin or
definitely
like
go in a
Kecmanovic.
stinker.
Like, I think somebody like that could honestly make a run here.
I mean, you've got Zizou Bergs playing Dimitrov as well. That's another player who can beat him.
There's a lot of players actually in that Djokovic section. There's like 6 names that could get to the could literally like get to the semis.
And all
It
of them
feels-
will
feels kind of
lose
open.
if Novak gets there as well.
Yeah. If depending on what Novak, but yeah.
Like if he gets there, if he gets through his first few matches, he's beating them too.
The one I'd really like to see, I'd like to see Novak against Tiafoe in the 4th round. I hope we get that. That could be fun.
I'm gonna be
That's the one that I'm sort of rooting for. Actually.
I'm gonna be the unimpressed guy and say,
Kaboli, unless Kaboli can beat Djokovic.
That's one I can see. Yeah, Djokovic Kaboli I'd watch. Djokovic Tiafoe, I'm less excited for that. Alcaraz Wu, I'm very excited for that. And I mean Shang Wu would work as well, but so far Carlos has definitely started well. However, from low 30, Jerry is able to make it to 40-30. That super long rally at like 15-30 definitely being the key. The key. Both players up and down the court, left and right, basically hitting insane shots time and time again. Eventually, Carlos just getting one a bit long when he was forced to hit from like no man's land. And yeah, so far it looks like no one has actually started on the outside courts, but at least it says that the umpires and the players in at least Watanoki Nakashima have arrived. So hopefully it won't be long. Stefanos Tsitsipas as well. We mentioned him playing with his bro, of course.
That's not intriguing.
No Vanch is the unimpressed guy. Don't you like watching the Tsitsipas brothers play?
No, but it was cool when they won the title last year in
Antwerp or Roland Garros this year, right? Didn't they post like a huge win?
Yeah, they did.
It's like Dodik Krajcek? No, I don't remember.
But
yeah, I kind of like watching them. Of course, I don't really do it on like a weekly basis. Definitely not. But yeah, from time to time, I certainly don't mind. Petros, I've watched a lot live as well on the Challenger Tour, of course.
Berrettini and Rona, who do you think is coming through that? Is that a rematch of Cincinnati? I think Rona was probably going to beat Berrettini, personally. Berrettini is just not going to be healthy.
Or Alcaraz, or what?
I mean, the abdominal thing looks serious, so I'm kind of surprised that Berrettini is still playing this, or is still going to play.
I mean, he won a match already, you know.
Oh yeah, he did.
So
yeah, so then maybe it's not an issue anymore.
Yeah,
he beat O'Connell in 2 tiebreaks. I had forgotten about that.
So like he was struggling a little bit, you know, against Chris, but I didn't watch it. I know that he was just like down in first set, second set could have been much smoother. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know. But what I'm trying to say is that he has already played a match, so clearly that's not really a thing, you know, at least not that much of a concern for now. I don't know. Because of that, I think I also tend to lean Rune still, though, because, well, even if fitness usually isn't one of the strengths of Holger, it seems like here it might actually work out for him. And yeah, he's done it in Cincinnati already. Of course, it's a very tight match. It's like one of these matchups that we shouldn't really be getting realistically, because, well, Berrettini should be ranked higher than he is.
Yeah, although he's 44 right now. This is the one hardcore best of 3 tournament outside of his 2 major runs that he has gone pretty deep before in 2019. Reached the semis.
I suppose you meant big ones, but he also made the final in Naples, right?
Oh, yeah. And then lost to Musetti?
Yeah.
Almost 2 years ago. But yeah, like in terms of big tournaments.
Yes. Well, it's going to be pretty tough to break Alcaraz here.
Yeah.
Indoor conditions on a court like this, maybe a little less important as well. I was thinking about it earlier that, you know, the way that Jerry was serving in Chengdu, if he can somehow replicate it here. So far, I don't think he's really been doing that, and yeah, on his serve it's been a struggle, but well, still just one break.
Mm.
Tries to attack the net here, but Alcaraz is gonna find the pass.
Yeah. Just too much time.
Matteo Berrettini, speaking of the devil, watching him, and Flavio Cobolli is there too, and a couple of other Italian
Yeah,
guys.
you see this in Shanghai, don't you? Like where all the players just watch each other a lot.
Maybe.
I feel like I see this almost every year in Shanghai. They're just out there just watching.
Maybe they just have better cameras, and they just find them.
Like
Although,
I have images of like watching this when I was in grade school, and like I would see Nadal watching Federer, like vice versa. Like they don't normally do that at other tournaments.
yeah, Nadal watching Federer, I don't really remember that. So yeah, I guess it is unusual. Yeah, I think these guys, Cobolli, Berrettini, and then etc., they're standing actually pretty close to
Yeah.
the edge of the court. So even on the wide shot, you can see them. And there's a couple of guys with them who I don't think are tennis players. Maybe. I have this one image that I have like very firmly in my brain when, but that's normal. When Federer was playing Djokovic in 2014 in the semis, and Jan de Witt was like watching that and taking a lot of notes because he was coaching Gilles Simon at the time, and Simon, of course, was the final opponent for Roger after that win, which probably gets kind of forgotten because well, the semis is the final in everyone's mind there, but it wasn't an easy match. But yeah, that's kind of an image that I very remember very well. But of course, that's normal that a coach is watching. I mean, I was already mentioning Bagdatis is sitting here too, and and witnessing this pretty scary level from Alcaraz so far. I don't know where Marcos Baghdati stands in the Ibing Wu talent, discussion. Probably very high since he took the job, but I don't know if he feels like Ibing can be a comparison to this level from Carlos. We'll see.
Yeah. Really good stuff so far. Hasn't done anything wrong yet. I mean, he did have that one game where he was pushed to deuce on his serve, but so far it's been like just very clinical.
Yeah, and if he hits some sort of like a weaker return here or there, it really doesn't matter because he has that lead and has the space to make some errors. Of course, that winner to end the previous game was pretty awesome too.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically as good as he can expect so far, I think, considering the transition. Last year, he, of course, went to the semis in Beijing, so he had a bit more time. And also started Shanghai well, I would say. Sinner maybe last year was the guy who, well, struggled from the beginning to handle that. But then again, he won the title. But yeah, today I don't really think Sinner will have any issues. So
Yeah, he's playing Taro Daniel, so I don't see that being challenging.
yeah, Taro had that moment last year, or rather, like maybe even most of the season when he was really troubling the top guys, but then it just completely disappeared around Auckland. Now he's like not troubling either the top guys or the bottom guys, if you may.
Yeah. One of the best matches I watched at Indian Wells in 2023 was with Jack Edward. We watched Cam Norrie against Taro Daniel.
Okay, don't
It was
remember
such a
that
good
much.
match for about 2 sets, and then Cam ran away with the third.
Yeah,
In
I was
some
mostly
ways, maybe
thinking
the
of,
last.
like, the rude ones, Zverev, Berrettini. These were the guys that he beat in 2023. But I guess Nori would probably fall into that as well if I remembered that at all.
Mhm. All right, Nori mentioned tick.
Yeah. I mean, he's not in Shanghai, so we can't really mention him in regards to this event, but he will be playing the Challenger in Rouen next week, so
Mm-hmm.
back where he belongs.
No! Back where he belongs is the quarterfinals of Indian Wells next year. Yeah.
The
Finals of Rio,
semifinals at Wimbledon.
Semifinals of Wimbledon. Yeah. Title at Indian Wells. Career high number 8. Oh, I think Carlos missed. Oh no, it looks like he made it. So it is break.
Nah, he actually made it. Yeah, this is
Okay, he made it.
looking
Yeah, this is pretty one-sided so far.
very dangerous from him so far. Yeah, there's just no, there's no sort of like testing period. There's nothing so far. Absolutely not struggling with the conditions with anything that Jerry's throwing at him either.
Look
Some
how
of these
fast he's hitting
very
his
aggressive.
forehand as well. Like it's
It
5.
is, yeah. He's like blasting it.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that a lot in Beijing as well. Even in the final, he had so many very aggressive forehands. Which, if you watched him in the North American swing, he wasn't nearly as confident on that shot. Not even close. In fact, he was hitting it very short a lot of the times, and just kind of taking a very defensive court position. But in general, we know he was just sort of lacking that fire and spark.
Yeah.
So it's just a totally different player now. On a 9-match win streak.
After snapping Yannick Sinner's win streak of 15.
Mm-hmm.
Sabalenka's 15 was also snapped yesterday, so
yeah,
maybe this is the standard now, and Carlos will just win Shanghai, and then his win streak will be snapped at the Six Kings Slam by Jorge Rune in the quarterfinal.
Which is totally
No,
fine.
I mean, considering what the ATP did with Laver Cup, right? Like they might actually, in a couple of years, they might actually just add the Six Kings Slam retroactively to the head-to-heads and to the official results.
No, but like that was always an ATP event, right? Like,
of course, I'm joking, but I mean,
okay, yeah. But I mean, with the influence that Saudi Arabia might have on tennis,
I mean, it just shouldn't have happened. It's basically unreal to do something like this, like in so many ways. Just that's not the way that law is supposed to work. I mean, if you know what you're doing is like, isn't gonna count, it's not unofficial, and then in 2 years someone tells you, no, it was actually a tournament that was usual pro competitive stuff. I don't think it necessarily impacted the performance of anybody, but still.
Do you feel the same way about the next gen finals, even though that wasn't retroactively added, of course?
There are some issues there, in that I think there is a lot of inconsistency, because if we're counting that as like official results and into the head-to-head and everything, like I'm totally fine with that. However, for example, when at the US Open, I had to compile these like charts for some players, and let's say it was Brandon Nakashima, for example, and I think in fact it was, and I had to put that his 5-set record in there. And for example, the matches from the next gen finals did not count.
Oh man, yeah.
And well, it's a different format, and I understand that. And sort of a part of me agrees with that. Like a part of me also doesn't consider it a 5.
I would not count it.
But I mean, it's just inconsistency, It's so we're counting this as official results. We're counting this towards the head-to-head, but we're not counting it as the 5th set. I mean, isn't it best of 5 sets? It is. Yeah, it's different sets, of course, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't like the inconsistency of it. I think it should be like, either we count them like fully or we just don't. So personally, if we are including this in the head-to-head, if we are including this in the official records of a player, this also doesn't count as a player's like tour-level semifinals, for example. So let's say Nakashima has right
Or
now,
a title, right? A title or a final or any round.
or a title or a final, yes. So let's
Yeah.
say Brandon Nakashima has like 3 tour-level semifinals. The next gen finals will not count towards that. So I think, yeah, either one way or the other. Whereas the way it's done right now, it's just like a half measure, and we kind of acknowledge it's there, but we don't actually take it fully as like, yeah, these are proper results from a normal event. Yeah, 6-2 Alcaraz, and what else is there to say? I mean, 8 forehand winners, but it felt like 20 more or less. And he was really just blasting Jerry off the court with that shot.
Yeah. One-way traffic so far.
See if anything changes. Jerry definitely could have taken some of his sort of advantageous positions after the serve and done a bit more with them. This is more towards how he played, before Chengdu, let's say. But let's see. I mean, 36% of first serve points won. That definitely could be improved for Shang. Carlos, on the other hand, just blasting through most of his service games and points. And well, while yesterday lived up to the expectations, this one so far, not as much. Not as much. This match is very well attended for Shanghai, says Michael. Yeah, I mean, Jerry on the court, probably a big story for them right now, him playing Carlos as well. And today, right, is obviously Saturday. So I think the weekend will be much better attended. And it's also Saturday with the top 4 players in the world playing on center court. So I think these are all kind of adding up. And we do have outside courts action already starting, and everyone is playing. Cerundolo up an early break on Shevchenko. Brandon and Watanuki just in the second game, and Menchik has a break point at the second game as well. I mean, if this ends very quickly, I think we can just watch Watanuki Nakashima or something. But I don't know. Depends how long it is. Like if it's an hour and a half, then I think it's absolutely fine. If it ends in an hour, we might think about something, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We are basically, it's up to Jerry now. He has to step up somehow.
Yeah, Menchik just broke Rublev, so he's up 2 left. Trying to win his 3rd set in a row for the Russian. Jakub is still the youngest player in the top 100, right?
Well, 2005 August, right? No, September. So gotta be, I think.
Yeah. Jerry is higher ranked, but he's a little younger.
Jerry's from February, yeah. I think 1st of February, and Menchik is 1st of September. So definitely. Also, yeah, do we have anyone else from 2005? I guess not.
Learn Etienne, but he's not yet in the top 100.
Yeah, he's not in the 100, yeah. Of course, Fonseca might get there at some point relatively soon. That would be another brave year.
Yannick Sinner, by the way, this time in 2019, he won the next gen finals. So a pretty high bar for Fonseca, as I see the playstyle comparison to Sinner. That's like the obvious comparison.
You mean when he was like this, this age?
Yeah, 18. So 2019. Okay. I think he finished that year Sinner in the top 100. Like he was like 80 or something, or 78, something like that.
Yeah, he
I
just
remember
made
that.
it basically. After the next gen finals, he still played the Ortisei Challenger and he won it.
Yes, he won that.
But just before, I think in October, he made it with maybe the Antwerp run or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah,
But
yeah. There was like one run where he made the semis. He beat Monfils, lost to Wawrinka, I think. Yeah, that was Antwerp.
yeah, I think it was Antwerp, and
Yeah. And then
he also
Murray
lost
beat
to Wawrinka earlier
Humbert.
at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, that was the title that Andy won, right? He beats
Yes.
Humbert and then beats Stan in the final.
Okay, that's a decent start for Shang in the second set. Wrong puts Carlos in the volley, and of course, well, just needs as many holds as possible to potentially make this comfortable. Make this what competitive? I wanted to say not comfortable. Comfortable it is so far, but for Alcaraz, yeah, Sinner in 2019 he went from like 500 in the rankings or something like that to the top 100.
Yeah.
Of course, winning Bergamo in February, that was kind of the big one. And then after that, he just kind of kept improving, kept improving. That Sinner Wawrinka US Open round one, I remember it was such a massive storyline. And yeah, at the end of the year, just blasting through everyone at the next gen finals, making especially Mikael Immer just run for his life and struggle for balls. Alex Deminer as well. And
Alex de
then,
Minaur was looking like a junior.
yeah,
in that
both of
final.
them. Both of them were just like, it was an important lesson, I think, for both of them. That against quality like this, you just can't really defend all the time. And to an extent, both of them have worked on that over the years, especially Alex, but also Immer before he went away, went through so many of these like forehand changes and yeah, was
Yeah.
definitely trying to let's say develop his attacking game as well.
Mikel?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He also beat Sinner after the US Open in 2022 in Davis Cup. And well, he also has a 2-0 head-to-head over Carlos. Both of those wins coming in 2021.
Well, Australia is one I remember for sure, but what's the
Yeah.
other?
I think Winston Salem semifinals.
Oh yeah, I forgot Carlos was in there because that was that random Winston-Salem where like you had Gerasimov, Ivashka, Emer, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
back when Ivashka was crushing it in 2021.
Rusevori, I guess maybe as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally forgot that Carlos was in there because he like really stands out from that lineup.
Okay, so Shang did hold and he won the first point on Carlos's serve here. One thing that I saw that Shang did do well in the first set, he was hitting his backhand pretty fast. His average miles per hour was higher, but I mean, you'd kind of expect that. He has a pretty hard flat backhand.
Oh wow. I mean,
but that's me just like clutching at something,
no,
because
no,
this
I
was so
understand.
competitive.
I mean,
Otherwise, there's like nothing to talk about really because
just
it's
wait,
so.
Vansh. Just wait.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, any short ball that Shank gives Alcaraz, he attacks, but then suddenly there's the chance for Jerry to win the point after the lob. But Alcaraz comes up with a behind the back shot to
That
stay in.
is absurd. Yeah, that's
And
gonna be.
eventually takes it. Eventually, it's going to be Jerry missing the forehand. So at 15-all, that kind of decides the game. It feels. I mean, it's such a long point.
That behind the back though, that was sick. We gotta see this again. Yeah, that's such a sick shot right there. It made it look so easy.
Pablo Cuevas retired, but we still see the ghost of Pablo Cuevas on the court here.
Pablo Cuevas walked so Carlos Alcaraz could run.
Yeah. One small racket stroke for a human, but for a man, I guess. Yeah. Couldn't remember the exact phrasing, but anyway.
Rublev did break back, by the way. Actually, where is Rublev in the rankings right now? Because he is defending 600 points. He
Yeah,
is.
I mean,
at
he will also make the ATP finals.
Yeah, he is. Well, nothing really. Sixth.
Yeah, there's a pretty big gap there, as we talked about yesterday. Top 7 is, well, let's say top 6 is pretty much guaranteed, and then we'll see about Djokovic and whether he plays Demir and whether he plays. But yeah, Rublev, Ruud, I mean, they're in.
Mhm.
They haven't been consistent this year at all, but they've done enough to still claw their way into it. Well, I mean, that point with the behind the back shot kind of represented some of the issues in Shang's game so far. I mean, he's just not really able to put Alcaraz on the defense at all.
Nope.
That's not the Chengdu game where he was just like blasting his serve, and of course Chengdu was like rapid and he adapted so well to that event. But he's not doing that at all in Shanghai so far.
Yeah. Carlos continues to excel at the net. I think he was 8 for 10 in the first set, and here, well, already he has 4 volley winners. And it looks like Shang is in trouble again on his serve. 530.
Yeah, the shortage of easy points is definitely hurting him so far.
Mm.
And well, a shortage of a drive volley is also hurting him right now, specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, Brandon Bodanuki 2-all 30-all right now in first set. Winner of this plays Terrence Atman or Taylor Fritz. Of course, we already saw Fritz Nakashima in Cincinnati.
And we already saw Fritz Watanuki in Shanghai last year.
Mm-hmm.
Terence Atman also made the second round out of qualifying last year in Shanghai and was, I don't remember who, Nikos Jari, I think, beat him, and it wasn't that close, but he likes these courts as well. Well, this is looking pretty rough for Shang right now. I mean, I was definitely expecting him to have a bit more of a chance here, but then again, Carlos is just like, yeah, I don't need any breaks. I don't need any acclimatization period. I'm just gonna play in Shanghai the way I played in Beijing and blast that local hope of the court. So far, so far he's doing just that. But of course, Jerry's still in this match. Just one breakdown in the second set.
Yeah, and Bodanuki actually just broke Brandon, so he's up 3-2.
Yes, he did.
Brandon made a forehand on forced error, and then also kind of let Bodanuki bully him at 30-all, 2-all. So. And behind the back, though, that was sick. Of course, we still also have the semifinals in Beijing today. The first semifinal being Paulo Badosa against Coco Gauff. And then the second semifinal with Karolina Muchova taking on Zhang Shenwen.
Yeah, that average forehand speed again from Alcaraz 132 on the day. That's how Fields was hitting in that maybe an extra finals match, I think. Of course, in the tiebreak, it went up to like 149, but I think that was also his average. And yeah, he's like not looking back here, not wasting any time. Jerry, I mean, trying to attack here. That's good, but again, that's not quite enough. And 41% of first serve points won for Shang. That's pretty striking too.
Yeah.
Such an asset for him during the entire Chengdu week. And despite this being like relatively quick conditions, it's just not happening.
Yeah, I was talking about Borodinoke hitting his backhand. I mean, sorry, Shang hitting his backhand harder on average, but that's also because Alcaraz was throwing in a few more slices. So that will obviously also bring down the speed.
But it's average top spin speed.
Oh, well, in that case, never mind. Forget what I said.
Yeah, that's what it said. Although, I mean, I can't blame you because usually I also don't know what's used for these stats. Like, yeah, I think I saw someone talking about it on Twitter recently and kind of feeling like they're stupid for asking the question. But no, I think it's a very valid question. I have absolutely no idea how drop shots, slices, and everything are counted in this. But at least here on the stat, it said average top spin. So
Okay. Yeah, then we can assume it's just topspin backhands.
I think slices would bring this down a lot if they were included.
Yeah.
How do you feel about these? Like, when a line umpire makes a mistake and then they show him on the screen. How do you feel about that shot?
Yeah, that's a bit it's a bit humiliating for the person, but
Look, world, this is the guy who made the mistake. Look.
yeah.
In football, like, I mean, for you, I mean soccer, like, do they show like if there's an offside that the line umpire called, or like, are they even called line umpires? Anyway, one of the assistants, if one of them calls an offside, but then on the VAR they show that it was actually not, do they have a shot of that guy kind of standing there with the flag and just being like, oh, sorry? Maybe, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it's just not really a thing in soccer.
Yeah, I don't think so. At least not that excessively, kind of. Here they just really point to that guy for like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Everything becomes like much more visible on the tennis court. They just point to everything and everyone.
Yeah.
They just like zoom in on the person.
Definitely true. Like, if you go to a football match, you're probably not gonna be shown on screen if in the stands. And I mean, yeah, you're pretty much safe to sit there, even if your boss doesn't know or something like that. Even if you told your boss that you're sick. Whereas on a tennis match, nah, you're in danger all the time.
Yeah. Especially if you go to a challenger 250 and you sit anywhere in the first few rows. And you're somewhat well known. Like Damien.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I welcome that. If I'm seen on Challenger TV and someone sends me a photo, of course I always have a laugh at that. But yeah, I guess if you know the venue, you can sometimes kind of tell where you can sit in order not to be seen. Anyway, I mean, Shang is showing some signs of life here, that's for sure. Of course, there was that slice of luck with the return or with the shot that just made the baseline. Carlos was like, I'm not sure. The balls already went to Shang onto the other side of the court, but he had to give them back actually, because it turned out the point is his. But after that, a couple of very nice rallies. Actually, one of them only was won by Jerry, but he's still in this game at least. And well, especially the 30-40 point. He attacked and finally got some reward for that.
This was, of course, the most competitive game in the first set as well. This fourth game, with Carlos serving and at least on Carlos's.
Making a few more returns, Shank as well. Maybe at some point this will give him a few more errors from Carlos. Okay. Kinda has already. Hello, Nurlan. And yes, good morning to me. Good night to Vansh, indeed. Hi, Terry, as well. I woke up for this match at 6 a.m. So, I mean, Jerry, you better fight at least in the second set. I mean, even if it's an hour, I'm not gonna like sit here and say.
Yeah, and there's no shortage of tennis, so you can watch Menchik versus Rublev. Menchik serving for a 5-2 lead now.
I will watch Watanuki Nagashima probably after this match. Although Menchik Rublev, I'll keep an eye on that.
I think that one is going. It's going a lot.
Actually, all four matches I kind of want to see.
Yeah.
It's a good day, Today is a good day in Shanghai.
Well, Carlos, okay. Break point down now. What was it? Was there a Shanghai tournament where Djokovic only had to save like one break point or something crazy like that in the whole week? Or I think maybe it was that he didn't get broken all week, right? 2018, I think. He didn't get broken all week. Yeah, he didn't get broken all week.
Federer did that in Cincinnati, I think, but I wasn't sure about Djokovic, to be honest.
2015, yeah. Yeah, I think 2018, he didn't get broken the whole week.
Who did he play? Was that George year?
Yeah, George. I think Anderson in the quarters, Zverev in the semis, and George in the final.
Well, there were chances here, but Carlos manages to get that great volley at deuce and eventually gets to 3-1. Well, not much that Jerry could do on these. So not that one breakpoint? Was the one breakpoint? Or two?
Yeah.
2 breakpoints.
Just more lethal forehands. Oh, Norlan. Dylan has a question for you about toilet paper.
I'm gonna check that in a second. Just gonna say that won the tournament without having his serve broken. That's Zverev in Madrid 2018 at the ATP 1000 level, Shanghai as well, Djokovic that year, and Federer twice in Cincinnati 2012 and 2015.
Okay.
So these 4 guys. Yeah. And also, I guess Nadal 2010 Monte Carlo. That's fewest games lost to win an ATP 1000, which was 14. That is actually not.
Wow, that's insane. But that was Verdasco, right? Got to the final then.
Yes, that one. Yeah. When there's that amazing point where like Verdasco wins it, and he's just like reacting like he just won Wimbledon because it was otherwise impossible for him to do anything in that one. Rafa won 3 matches, only losing 1 game there. And well, also needed to defeat Ferrer and Ferrero, the Ferrer double. I mean, it depends where I am, Nurlan. If it's a public toilet, that's a bit of an issue. If it's at home, I mean, I can probably find something. I don't know, like the kitchen, stuff maybe. How do you call it? It's not kitchen paper. You know what I mean.
Yeah. Toilet, paper towel, yeah.
Yeah, paper towels, yeah. So maybe something like that. Maybe I can just, wash instead of. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm gonna leave it. Like if you're at home, I think you're safe. If you're at home, you have a lot of solutions. If you're in the public toilet, I mean, yeah, it's tougher. You probably wait for most of the other people to like kind of leave. You try to go into the other stall, see if there's any toilet paper there, and if there isn't, if you're like totally out, then I mean, worst case scenario, you just probably put on the pants and go, right? I mean.
Okay. Gonna move on from that.
Yeah, I love the fact that we just literally sit here and talk about stuff like that while tennis matches are happening. It's exactly. I hope that's exactly what you wanted to hear, Nurlan. But yeah, that's kind of my opinion. At home, you're safe.
Another crazy get from Alcaraz and Shang is like, what the hell do you have to do to win a point?
Yeah, Shang is that that Verdasco feeling that I just described.
Yeah.
That rally is like literally one of the best I've ever seen, I think. And obviously Nando wins it, and yeah, he's just like, finally, I've got something. And of course, whenever I think of that, I also kind of tend to remember the Yuzhny Federer Wimbledon quarter, when Yuzhny is asking Agassi what he has to do. Agassi at the time was not yet the tennis coach. It's just like sitting there in the royal box, or however it's called, and yeah, was not expecting that either. But yeah, that's the feeling the best players in the world kind of leave you with. I will not go into the discussion on whether Sinner and Alcaraz are as good as the big three.
Well, Mats Wilander is always very reactionary when it comes to his takes. And he always likes to just, sort of say, like, whatever is happening now is the very best, and nothing is ever better than this. I've never seen anything like it, That's just very on brand for Mats. So it didn't surprise me. Like when I saw it, I was like, oh, it's Mats Wilander. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Unfortunately for Shang, one of his things today is that when he has these points that he's basically won, then he finds one of these forehands which is like a little too centric. He lets Alcaraz back in, and yeah, just can't reconvert on these situations here. But yeah, I mean, you said that he was very reactionary. I wanted to say that he's a shit stirrer, and like he basically will do anything to make one of these takes, and I don't know, for people to talk about it. Whereas, yeah, I don't know if he truly believes that. I mean, it's just so tough to compare, honestly. But if you mean to tell me that it's like definitely better, that the Sinner Alcaraz rivalry right now is just, the matches are so much better than the big three in their prime. No, I mean, that's just ridiculous. I saw it also fueled Pavij's kind of campaign, that basically the whole tennis media is on a WhatsApp group where they are told what to do. And of course, one of the main,
lose their jobs.
Yeah, one of the main things right now is, avoid talking about the appeal, avoid talking about the Sinner doping case. Instead, just boost the ratings of the Sinner Alcaraz rivalry and everything. The establishment, I don't know. I mean, I wonder if we are there. Like he did call us the establishment once, but I'm not on the.
That means you've made it. That's a compliment. That means you've made it, right?
Kinda, but where's my application? Where's my invitation to the WhatsApp group with Mats Wilander and all the other establishment journalists?
John Overtime and Bastian Prashant. Oh. Well, if you don't get tagged in a PUBG post, you haven't made it. You have to get tagged.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been tagged by PUBG, but he did
It's
unblock
like,
me, which at least shows that he acknowledges my existence, and probably acknowledges my existence as a terrible human being and a puppet. But it is what it is.
Muppet of the establishment, yeah.
Well, that's gonna be 2 breaks. And yeah, I still come back to that point at like 40-30 when Jerry had it won, and then suddenly there's that one forehand that doesn't quite hit its mark placement-wise.
Mhm.
And he's back in the point. Well, Alcaraz is neutralizing it easily from there. And eventually he just can't quite confirm whatever he built up for himself in the previous stages of the rally. And at 6-2-4-1, his chances right now are looking pretty slim.
Mm. Oh, by the way, you made it on the Tennis Channel Podcast Network, huh? With Mitch Michaels.
I mean, technically, I'm on the Tennis Channel Podcast Network every week.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. The host of the Great Shot podcast.
So yeah, but
You made it on the Tennis Channel Insighted, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Nice. Yeah, Mitch, he's a good host, so that must have been fun.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, obviously I was talking 90% of the time. Well, because
Yeah.
it's me, but well, also that's the formula. that's the formula of the show, I guess. But yeah, I mean, obviously I enjoyed it. I even told him that like, I just, because he was like thanking me 3 times that I agreed or something like that, and I was like, no, I mean, don't worry, I just agree to everything because I like talking. So
No, yeah, I did the same thing when I came on after Monte Carlo last year. I was just talking nonstop. And like,
yeah, I feel like twice or thrice he even kind of, well, subtly stopped me.
yeah, he's
Because
like,
I
we
was
have other
just,
things to move on to, but
yeah, I mean, otherwise the part with me would be like over an hour or something like that. But I think we ended up at like 40 minutes. But
yeah, it's about standard.
I think that it's better than talking not enough, definitely. Me and John, when we were interviewing Alex Martinez in Porto, the sensation of these 2 challenger weeks in what was it? Well, one of these Spanish challenger 50s, and then Porto. He after the interview, he was kind of like, "Oh, did I talk too much? Did I tell me, guys, tell me some feedback," because he wasn't really used to like doing interviews and stuff. And I basically told him that like there's no such thing as too much. You can definitely talk not enough, but too much, nah, it doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, 6-2-5-1, Carlos Alcaraz.
Speaking of too much.
Too much for Yuncheng Shang, you mean? Okay. Okay. I see Uki Luki in the chat is really like diving into the Nurlan trends.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's still not been a bad watch. Definitely not, because of how good Alcaraz has been.
Well, it's Alcaraz. When is it ever a bad watch?
Monfils.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's
Uh,
still a good watch at times. I mean, we got to see the angry side of him.
No, I think Monfils was not a
And I
good
think the
watch,
first 2
especially the
sets were
first
kind of
day.
decent, actually. It was really like when he came back the next day, then he looked very out of it.
Yeah, I actually think the first day was awful to watch though, because it was, the conditions were
It
so
was so
quick, and
windy. Yeah.
there were barely any rallies, windy. So I think
Mm.
the first day was actually pretty horrible to watch, and the Baltic match, I don't know, it just felt very like, obviously Alcaraz was super flat, and that's how I felt watching it as well. Maybe that was because
Mm.
it was like 4 in the morning for me, but I just remember watching it and thinking like, nah, I mean, this isn't right. This, yeah, it's just. And the feeling that, like, even though he's breaking back in the third, when the favorite is breaking back in the third, you should feel like, oh, this might be the start of the comeback. Whereas there, like, it just didn't feel like it at all, because you could see that him winning 15 games from here is like almost impossible. So yeah, I think these two, but obviously, I mean, I think even Alcaraz would agree that this probably was not an entertaining watch. Did this North American hardcore swing from him. But yeah, I
Mm.
mean, otherwise, obviously, he's one of the best tickets in tennis for sure.
Yeah.
Among the very top, at the very least, he definitely is the one who brings the most entertainment. And yeah, kind of doesn't play the percentages whatsoever.
Which is what makes it so fun. Yeah. He oscillates between 11 out of 10 unplayable, and then he'll have those dips. Highest peak level though in men's tennis, would you say?
Huh?
Highest peak level in men's tennis?
Oh, you mean like all time?
No, not all time. Like currently.
I mean, it's a conversation, I guess. I know a lot of people will say it's simply Alcaraz, because he's beating Sinner left and right this year, and even though he doesn't have the consistency, but I don't think it's that far off between the two guys.
Yeah. I think he probably just has a little bit more magic, a little bit more.
Yeah, the
A little bit higher.
intangibles go with him
Yeah.
definitely, and
Whereas Sinner is gonna, he's gonna maintain like a 9 out of 10.
yeah,
8 out of 10 at the very least. Whereas like Carlos can go from like 11 to a 6 or a 7, and then
yeah, which is why I said a moment ago that, like, he's out of the top players, he's the guy who kind of brings the most entertainment, because yeah, he just doesn't play the percentages as much as the other players do.
yeah.
So
Even like that
I
tiebreak,
guess in that sense it would be Carlos.
it wasn't very like high percentage, but hey, I mean,
Hmm?
it was good. Like that forehand that he hit in the third set tiebreak to go up 5-3 against
Oh,
Sinner.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes. Definitely wasn't playing the percentages here on this return at what
Well,
was it?
Jerry looks so happy,
15-40.
like he just won Chengdu, and he
Yeah,
holds
and
14-5.
that was also when he was laughing about that return, right? That Carlos found of
Yeah,
the forehand side on
yeah.
the fifth point of this game. It's really that sort of feeling, like we described with Verdasco, Nadal, and stuff.
Hmm.
Of course, it was even tougher, perhaps, to claim a game on clay against Rafa, given that, well, the serve isn't going to give you all that much. But yeah, it's a brutal Alcaraz display, that's for sure.
Yeah, Sean, that's very much true. The unpredictability of Alcaraz versus Sinner, you can kind of more predict. And when it comes to his pattern, he has more like reliable patterns, I guess, that he can kind of go to, under pressure. Whereas, yeah, like you say, Carlos can always throw a surprise shot in the mix. Rublev trying to hang on to make it 5-all. Neither guy has really been able to hold serve with any kind of regularity in the Rublev-Menchik match right now. It's 5-all in the first set.
Yeah, it's just more incredible forehand hitting from Alcaraz.
Yeah. By the way, Watanuki and Brandon and heading to a first set tiebreak. How many matches has Alcaraz played against players younger than him?
I saw that stat recently, actually.
Or
Did he play
situation?
someone younger than him in Beijing, maybe?
Beijing last year?
No, this year in Pechi Pericard.
Oh, yeah.
And I think in the
Pericard.
media notes for Beijing that day, you're gonna find a stat. Like how many times he's played a younger player. I was doing Tokyo, so I don't remember, but I think I saw it. But yeah, I definitely saw the stat. I think it was maybe like the third, but that's my guess. I mean, Shang he definitely played earlier, right?
Yeah, Australian Open this year, third round. I think Mark Leal also in the first round of Wimbledon. Mark
Layal isn't Layal like 2023 as well?
Yeah,
I mean,
2003.
sorry, 2003. I don't know what his date of birth is actually.
It's May 12th, so he's actually 7 days, younger than Carlos.
Okay, so he is younger than Carlos. Sure.
Yeah. So I guess this is the fourth match that he's played over guys younger than him.
I think in that Beijing one they said that it was the third match he plays against someone younger. Yes.
Yes. And now he's 4-0 because this match is over.
Yeah, 6-2, 6-2 Alcaraz, absolutely brutal display. Want to see the tiebreak maybe at least from Watanuki Nakashima?
Sure, let's do it. Well, Brandon right now is 2-1 up in the tiebreak. He did just get the mini break. Just, pretty solid hitting from him. But this time, he was running all over the place to try to counter this really good forehand from Watanuki. And, well, he just missed the running forehand cross court, so it's 2-all.
Yeah, and to what Sean was saying, like, yeah, that difference of temperaments is also what makes their rivalry even more fun, right? It's just that sort of
Fire
ice
versus
and fire and water type of deal, and
that's the ingredient for so many rivalries in the past, like Borg McEnroe and like.
Oh yeah.
Who else? Sabalenka and Swiatek in some ways too. Although Watanuki, forehand inside in winner. Right here, his forehand the last couple of points has just been very good. Not much Brandon could really do on those points. We'll see if he can actually keep up this level. It's kind of been like this in the Watanuki Nakashima match. Nakashima's kind of been very steady. Watanuki has been like all over the place. So
yeah, like it's exactly that. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the show when you kind of asked about Watanuki Nakashima as well. That Yosuke is just high risk, high reward, and Brandon is completely the opposite of that, which makes for a fun contrast. That's for sure.
Next point, double fault. So.
It's clear which style is better, though, in terms of like long-term staying power at the top of the sport.
That's for sure, yeah. Yeah, just looking at the stats again for Carlos, 79% first serve points won, 67% on the second serve. 50% first serves in, but it really didn't matter.
Third time in his career, yeah, and on tour level, of course, but I guess it wouldn't really change. But yeah, third time in his career and against Pechi Pericard. So I think we named the previous two
Yeah.
matches.
So it's on
So,
serve
yeah.
now. Watanuki Nakashima. Watanuki is up 4-3. Actually, also going to tune into Rublev Menchik because they're kind of in similar stages right now. Rublev trying to serve to force a tiebreak. This one's in a tiebreak.
Nurlan says, "Are we going to cover other matches?" No, I think we're just probably going to watch the tiebreak of Watanuki Nakashima. Of course, Alcaraz Shang was a little shorter than expected, but then again, it wasn't 40 minutes either. And yeah, do I hold a grudge towards Iga for firing her coach? I personally cannot wrap my head around. No, I like that decision, to be honest. Like, the longer I think about it, I do really think it shows ambition, and that she wasn't just going to be satisfied with, the way it's going for her right now, that she sees the need for change, which I think was there, and kind of for, just a new stimuli, or what is the stimulus, I guess is the singular form. But yeah, something new. I do, however, have my kind of reservations in regards to how it will look, because the new coach will have to enter a very specific setting in the team, like, the fact that Daria is such an important part of it and kind of calls the shots, and it's just not an easy thing to probably just acclimatize in and get into. And I wonder how this will work, but that's my only reservation, really. We still don't know, like, why she's withdrawing from events, because, well, you can play events without a coach, right? So but yeah, I don't hate the decision at all. I think whatever they had with Viktorovsky, it was clearly working for a while. He got her to a fantastic level, but well, he also showed that he is unable to make her adjust in, like, the recent year or so. And, well, Watanuki is really firing here. He's delivering on my expectations. At least he is. Jerry didn't, but Watanuki is on it.
Set points. Just watching the point at 6-4, and wow, what an angle from Watanuki. And I mean, he really stepped up in the last 3 points, but also before that in the tiebreak and during the set as well. He was just way more up and down than Brandon, but his highs were very high. So we'll see. Brandon has some work cut out for him, but we'll see how long Watanuki can maintain. But for now, he is up a set.
Yeah, it seems like every match is delivering, other than center court. Shevchenko Cerundolo into the first set tiebreak. Watanuki just won the first set tiebreak. Rublev Menchik into the first set tiebreak. Sean
we can cover the Menchik Rublev
tiebreak. Yeah, let's go. Does Iga need to change the forehand, or is it a tactical change she needs? Is Sean's question. Maybe you can watch Menchik Rublev, and I'll watch the Shevchenko Cerundolo tiebreak until the finish.
Okay.
So yeah, we wanna take on Sean's question.
Oh, does Iga need to change the forehand? I mean, I don't think she needs to like change the the strengths, like the forehand offense. From the middle of the court is like some of the best really there is on the WTA. We can see, especially on clay, just how much, just shape and like heavy spin and just how good that shot is. It's just like when she's rushed and when she's with that extreme grip on a faster court, the ball is just skidding or going really low or really fast. That's when she sort of has to adjust and maybe like put a little bit more shape, a little bit more height, use her athleticism a little bit more, like the other strengths in her game that we see her use so well on clay. Sometimes where I think sometimes on her forehand she tends to go in like this really panic mode and just like fight fire with fire, and that's kind of the change that she'll probably have to make. I think maybe sometimes on the return as well, maybe trying to take the return too early on the forehand, and that's where she can kind of get caught between her, like it's too close to her body or something like that. But I think the extreme grip is just always going to be there, so there it will always be like a bit of a situation where I don't think like she needs to change the grip or anything. It's not flawed in that way, but But yeah, I think just somebody that's going to come in and give her a few more options like she had, by the way, in 2019, 2020. You can go and watch those matches. She was hitting, more drop shots. She was slicing. She was like changing the trajectory of shots. And then, with Viktorovsky, the last 3 years, they've kind of just had one really awesome machine like way of playing. And that's gotten her almost 3 years at number one. But it hasn't, but now I think it's become stale. So I think, like you, I also really, the more I think about it, I like the decision because it also shows like he's not even waited until the end of the season, and we don't really know why she's withdrawing, but it shows that she's thinking long term. Really, that's kind of what I got out of it, like a long term vision, which is more important than maybe like trying to chase something short term. If it sets herself well up for next year, and we see an improvement in terms of her mentality as well in these non-Roland Garros slams, then it will look like a very good decision.
Yeah, no disagreements from me. Definitely, like in terms of the technical things, I think it's not a huge rework of her forehand that's like needed, but yeah, maybe some small adjustments, but more so even like mindset wise, it's just important for her to approach it differently. Don't just like fall into the same errors the entire match like she did against Pegula. And yeah, have a different way of getting out of points like this, of getting out of these issues with with adjusting to the pace on a faster court and a slicker court especially. And it's not really like a huge technical rework that I would like to see, but just more options in her game, maybe like she used to have.
Yeah.
Well, since I turned on the tiebreak, Shevchenko was kind of falling apart, but his second serve at 4-all was called out, and then he challenged it, and it actually turned out it was in, which gave him the point right away because Cerundolo wasn't going to play that back. So it was a second serve ace in the end, but it is 5-all now anyway.
Yeah. For me, I'm at 4-3 with Menchik just getting the mini break. Actually, Rublev's second serve getting attacked by Menchik stepping in, hitting an inside in backhand. And, kind of the classic attacking Andre.
Well, I thought we were going to have 4 matches to start the day in Shanghai with like good upset chances. One of them has come and gone, but definitely the other 3 so far delivering.
Yeah. Nice controlled, really big hitting. Once again, putting Rublev on the back foot. And just overwhelming him on both wings in that rally. So Menchik is up 5-3.
I really wish we mentioned Menchik more in that last segment on the show. I totally forgot he exists.
Yeah, like since Doha, he's sort of like...
Yeah, we did say something because you definitely mentioned that with Gil and Graskin, and I said that I had this episode with Alex where he was like comparing Menchik and Prizmic. Well, maybe that was even after the show. I don't remember. But yeah, definitely could have mentioned him in that Fonseca, Rune, Fields conversation. I think he's, if not just as good, he's close to it. So
yeah, pretty well rounded. I think he's a good mover. Like he's not like super elite yet, but I think he could get there.
Okay, yeah, I think he's absolutely up there in terms of move, just being quick around the court for his height, especially.
Yeah.
Drew many comparisons to Hurkacz when he was playing juniors.
Oh. Yeah. He's explosive on the stretch, which is a good quality. When you have him stretched defensively, he'll come up with something really good on the pass or, like open stance. So we'll see. I think as he develops physically, it'll get even better. But right now, he also just made a one really loose error and allowed Rublev back in, so it's 5-all. Kind of wasted his mini break lead here, actually. But see, he's kind of been ahead in this whole set. He's really been the better player, but
We've got another dramatic tiebreak here. I mean, dramatic challenge, sorry, as Cerundolo either found a forehand line winner. Yes, he did. And by the way, Joachim Nystrom in the box for somebody. But I don't know if it's Cerundolo or Shevchenko.
Sorry, who did you say it was? Who's in
No,
the
I mean
box?
there was Joachim Nystrom. He was in the top 10 in the 80s. Coach Kamil
Oh,
Majchak a couple of years
yeah,
back.
yeah.
He is from that Good to Great Academy in Sweden. But yeah, I don't know if it's Shevchenko or Cerundolo, to be honest. Like the way they showed him, it was kind of vague whether he is pumping up this guy or this guy. But well, I'll see if he's on anyone's. Yeah, he's not on anyone's profile on the ATP website, but I'll try to find out. But anyway, Shevchenko just found this backhand down the line winner that's like right in the middle of, right in the corner of the court, and that should give him a set point on his own serve.
Yeah. Menchik just saved a set point in 5-6. Really big first serve out wide. Got the free point. Although he misses the first serve now, it's 6-all. And they're in a baseline rally here. See who's more steady, and it's Rublev's whose backhand just goes in the middle of the net there. So Menchik with a set
And
point.
yeah, we have a set for Shevchenko in the meantime.
Set point here for Menchik. He won both his service points, saved a set point. Rublev finds the first serve though. Nice one out wide. And well, 7-all. Good return by Menchik on the pretty good first serve delivery by Andre. Now they're getting into a cross-court forehand to forehand rally. Rublev hits a nice angle cross-court and then finds the forehand on the line. Plenty of space to work with. So now he has another set point. And he's also going to have a second serve to work with on the set point. Finds a good backhand return. And looks like he's dictating this rally and forehand inside out winner. So it is Rublev who takes the first set. 9-7 in the tiebreak. Saved a set point, found a couple of good forehands down the stretch. Menchik, I think, had a chance earlier in the tiebreak. Led 5-3, kind of allowed Rublev back in. And Andre was just too consistent from there. But yeah, that's a tough set for Menchik to lose because I did feel like he was a better player getting into the tiebreak. Certainly had the most chances. He was always in Andre's service games. Led by a break twice. Threatened to get a break again and even serve for the set at 5-3. But yeah, last year's finalist is up a set, but he had to work really hard for it. And he actually plays the winner of this one, Shevchenko and Cerundolo. In the next round.
Yeah, and it's definitely with Shevchenko that Nystrom is here with. It is definitely Shevchenko that Nystrom is here with. He apparently has joined that academy in Sweden. Yeah, anyway, that academy also used to host the Challenger last year, but unfortunately it's off the calendar now. I actually got there. And Brandon Nakashima, of course, made the final there, so you should be
Speaking of
familiar.
Speaking of Brandon Nakashima, he's about to go down 3-love in the second set.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not great for the potential SoCal matchup, between him and Fritz.
Yeah, it's actually going to be Atman Vatanuki. when Damian goes silent, he's tweeting. I was not tweeting actually. I was looking up who Nestrom might be there with. So yeah, I was doing research, if you may. Is Nurlan explosive on the stretch? But usually when I go silent, yeah, that means I'm tweeting or something. Although actually last time when we watched the Beijing final, I was not tweeting. I was something came up because of how long that match was. People were kind of inquiring. Anyway, never mind. That doesn't make a difference right now. All right. So what do we do? Do we just end it here, or is there something? Is there another tiebreak we can watch? Not in the double.
No, I mean, Watanuki and Nakashima are it's not in a tiebreak, but that's probably the match I will be watching now.
Do you want to do it off stream or on stream? I don't mind either.
Honestly, I'm good with just doing it on here because I'm probably going to
Okay.
end up watching anyway.
Okay. Let's just keep going with that then. Watanuki has just claimed that 7-6 free love lead. So far, it's a peaking performance from him. Peaking, not like a peaking duck because we're not in Beijing anymore. We're in Shanghai, but it is a peaking performance from 100%. So.
Yeah.
Someone's going to Valencia today.
Oh, that's probably John, right? John is going to Valencia.
I guess that's John, yeah.
They used to have an ATP Tour event in Valencia.
Oh, yeah. But then Andy Murray defeated Tommy Robredo, and they were like, no, thank you. 5 match points saved. We can't do that to our players.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was actually the last edition. I was joking, but maybe. Very memorable couple of matches between Murray and Robredo. I do think about them quite a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, that was when Murray was like 12 in the world after he'd lost the US Open and was like just barely trying to get into the ATP finals. Ends up winning all the titles over Robredo. I was also trying to think when Alcaraz won Beijing. I was trying to think like who has like run the table post US Open, like not lost a single match. Well, Djokovic did it in 2013 because he wins Beijing, Shanghai, Paris, and the ATP finals without losing a match. And then he also did that in 2015. 2015, Djokovic also did that. Murray did it in 2016.
Murray did it, right?
Yeah, in 2016. And for Murray, it was even harder because he also had Vienna in there. So he won 5 titles.
Yeah, he won 5 titles in a row.
Mm-hmm. Federer never did it.
Federer won 3 in a row in 2011, but he lost in Shanghai, I guess.
No, he didn't play Shanghai actually in 2011.
So where did he lose?
So he just didn't lose.
No, he didn't lose.
Yeah, he just won Basel, Paris, and.
So he did it. Post US Open, he didn't lose.
He didn't lose, yes, but in this case, yeah.
Only it was still like what 17 matches or something like that. So I think it counts.
Just 15, right? Because Basel plus
Davis Cup.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess Hewitt and they played Australia that year, so sure you can count that.
Yeah. Davis Cup, I think. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, him as well.
Mm.
So you're already basically counting your chickens before they hatch, and you're looking at the possibility of Carlos winning every single match until the end of the season. Okay.
Pretty much. He's a long way away, but just trying to think who else did it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put on the score on the
2022 he lost to Runa in the Paris Masters final, so that one is out. 2021
incredible last game from Kolger.
2021 he lost to Zverev in the ATP finals semi-final. Oh, and what a lob by Watanuki, but Brandon is looking really flat right now. Watanuki is just peaking right now.
Yeah. That was also the case against Kotov. Like I think I said in my tweet, like I put it in caps that he is back because like literally the tennis that he played there was just like incredible. And well, I mean, he's had many occasions for wins like this, like against Nakashima. He has blown them on many occasions as well. So let's see how he does. But yeah, I
Well, I
mean,
tell you, in the tiebreak, he was just too good. Like I was watching
Yeah.
him thinking like, wow, like I don't think Brandon could have done anything. I mean, he lost 7-4 and like 4-all to 7-4. I was like, wow, too good. Like I don't know what happened these first 3 games. The game that Brandon got broken because
yeah, I didn't see it either. I only saw the last 2
YouTube.
points of the third game, basically. But yeah,
But,
that's what I was talking about at the beginning. Like Vatanuki is live against anybody, literally, but it's just always the challenge will be to actually maintain this over any extended patch. Of course, from here he just needs free holds and he has a great serve. It's certainly doable.
Mhm.
But yeah, we've seen him waste similar opportunities, I guess. Although rarely it was that he was up a break. I think it was mostly like close matches and just not quite enough. Nori in Madrid, right? Fritz.
There was a
Tiafoe, was it?
Tiafoe in
Yeah,
Miami.
exactly. Just kind of kept happening. I actually wonder what's his best win because like I don't remember a big win he actually posted.
Did he beat
Like,
Felix in DC? I think last year.
yeah, but
remember that.
Felix is.
I know, but by ranking, I think Felix was.
I
still,
know,
like,
I know.
pretty
He would
higher.
have been higher than Brandon right now. I think so. Yes. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was number 12 at the time, Felix. But yeah, that was actually the biggest win of Vatanuki's career, and Brandon would be second, which is wild because I mean he just troubles the top
35.
guys consistently for a while. And
12 versus 35. That's crazy.
Hurkacz Stuttgart, yes, I remember that match as well. That was amazing. Kasper in Tokyo, I guess a pretty decent match too. It just happened time and time again that he would push these guys, but just not beat them.
Fritz last year in Shanghai.
Yeah. I mentioned that at the beginning. But yeah, Brandon would be actually his second biggest win. So that just tells you how often he was close, but not quite enough.
Given what I know about Brandon and his returning versus his surfing and the way Watanuki is playing right now, I think there's a good chance he wins this match.
But yeah, great that he's back at this level like pretty quickly. It definitely I think from the start when even when he came back his first match, the quality was pretty much there. It's just that physically it was such a tough ordeal. He had that retirement in the third set against Su where I think he only said that he was fatigued, like there was no injury, but then even Hangzhou he lost to Trungelliti in the quarters. It was wins he could be getting, but of course was not quite ready yet. And then Shanghai for some reason is just an explosion.
So he is 3-13 against top 50 players lifetime. But I'm looking at all of these scores, and literally he's pushed all of these guys.
Yeah,
except for
tie breaks, right?
Except for Ugo Humbert in DC
Korda,
last year.
I guess, as well, right? Korda in Australia, it wasn't that close.
Yeah, 2-5-4 in the second round. I guess Fuchsovich in 2021 beat him 7-5-6-1 in Winston-Salem. But yeah, the one that stands out is Ugo Humbert just thrashed him 6-0, 6-2 after he beat Felix. Robin Hassler, remember him?
Of course. He's
He
still
hasn't
playing.
officially retired yet. He played the Olympics.
So what about Robin Haase, by the way?
Is he gonna retire like soon? Like he's probably gonna retire, right?
I mean, he's not playing singles anymore.
He's basically outside the top 1,000 in singles.
No, but he's not playing singles.
Oh, okay. So he's retired from singles.
Yeah, he hadn't been playing singles for a year when he played the Olympics.
Yeah. So he was another one of those like Ebden.
Yeah. But when I mean, he literally did not even have a singles ranking when he played the Olympics, but he had a singles ranking still at the entry cutoff because he beat Wesley Kohlhoff in qualifying for Hertogenbosch. So another guy who hasn't played singles in like 10 years. So yeah, I mean, it was kind of wild, but yeah, I mean, Hasse gave up on singles last year after the grass season, I think so.
Yeah.
He
Do you
actually,
remember-
I think a few years back, he told me that like he doesn't think he was gonna go for a doubles, career after singles, but that things might change. And well, seems like they have changed at least a bit. He is still active, and well, I mean, he's pretty good in doubles. Like last few years of his singles career, he was kind of turning into a serve bot. So good hands, good serve. Why not?
Yep. 2017 Montreal semifinalist.
Yeah, good run. That's true. Twice, two-time Kids BL champion. He's only ATP Tour titles.
There's also that match in versus Del Potro in Miami in 2018 where he played this crazy point.
Yeah, and he like does this with his head, right? Like
yeah.
Yeah, he hits like a massive forehand, and he's like.
Yeah, I think of Robin Hasse. I think of that point every time it comes up. It just goes back to Miami 2018.
I think there's when in that Montreal match, there's also this funny moment when someone says, "Come on, Roger."
Yeah.
And
Yes.
he says, "My name is Robin."
Yeah, that was pretty legendary, actually.
He's very funny.
Yeah. He even made Federer crack a smile. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean this is more of a Federer moment, I guess, than Hasse, but they also have this one from Rotterdam later, in 2018 at the beginning of 2018.
Yes.
Yeah, when
and Federer says it was out. Yeah.
Yeah, with the serve. Yeah, Roger, nobody called out. It's out, and he's
it's
like, "Oh, okay," and they just play the point.
The commentator's like, "Are you allowed to do that?"
Well, I mean, you are allowed to give a point to your opponent. So I would say that you are probably also allowed to call your own serve out.
Yeah, I guess.
It's kind of in the same spirit, but yeah, definitely a rare thing. I think that was also the match where Federer was trying to secure number one. So like it wasn't well, even though he was leading in that match, it wasn't. It still felt like a pretty big one, relatively speaking, at least. But I think he was already in control by then, right? It was like break up in the third or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, like 4-6, 6-1, serving to make it 2-0.
But on the plus side, we are getting Alcaraz Wu in the third round of Shanghai.
Yeah, we'll see if it's that much different than it was today. I don't know if it'll be that much different, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm afraid of that now. Honestly, after today, I'm a bit afraid because I just don't want it to be another 6-2, 6-2. I mean, Ibink hasn't really played that many guys like this. Obviously, Medvedev at the US Open, and that was a decent match, but the scoreline looks horrible.
Yeah, it was like the Kabuli match this year where it was a good match, but the scoreline was didn't show it.
Yeah.
Kabuli is another guy that I'm waiting for him to have a big top 10 win. Hasn't got it yet, but I'm still a believer.
Yeah, I mean, both Cobolli and Arnaldi, I think, are literally like on the same stage of their careers. Just literally feels like a breakthrough event could be around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And in many ways, I mean, they've already had their breakthrough events, especially Arnaldi, maybe with the semis in Montreal. But yeah, I mean, stars align a little bit, and it can be even huge. It can be even bigger.
Watanuki is just playing so well right now. Like serving so great, like just barely losing any points on the serve when he gets it in play, and then from the baseline he's just like dictating with the forehand, and kind of has Brandon just running on a string. So I think Brandon's only hope is just if Watanuki gets tight serving for it at 5-3 and just like blinks.
Yeah, I think the most important thing for Brandon today was like the improvements that he made to his serve. But of course, now down a break, that's not really a thing anymore. And yeah, I mean, we've talked about it many times that like when Brandon runs into somebody who can rush him and can kind of redline on the day, there's not much that he can do to mess them up. Really, he's had so many losses like this in the past year or so. Obviously, the Menchik ones come to mind, where yeah, you just kind of struggle to see what he could do. A Marterer in Danderit, I just mentioned that event. Maybe I should be Damien. Funny you should mention Danderit, but not Warsaw. But yeah, the final against Marterer there, or Rodionov even in Koblenz this year.
Mean,
Ridi especially, maybe in Otiniel Volnonov.
I mean, the main reason he has the hype, I'm giving him the hype also, is just the big wins, the individual big wins, 7 top 20 wins. And then plus the US Open run was very good, you know. I mean, until the last 3 sets, but yeah.
I mean, it was, yeah. I just think that's always going to be an issue for him, you know, when he runs into a guy like this and the guy is peaking. Like some players just have options to throw them off, and Brandon doesn't.
Yeah, I think that's the next step. So he got to where he was 2 years ago, but then now, you know, what can he sort of add in his game that's more disruptive, I guess. But I think getting seeded for Australia is a good goal. Like he's 35, I think, you know, he should be able to do that. So he does that.
Yeah,
and he'll...
that's definitely up. Like that's like more than he did in 2022, right?
Yeah.
So that would be something definitely to kind of get to that goal. Is Nakashima having a dip was the question, but yeah, I don't think he's having a dip.
Yeah,
it's just
he's
something
fine.
that's really been a part of his game, especially since
I was pretty
5-1.
confident he was going to win. What was it? He was going to win Hangzhou, but I just didn't, you know, because I just didn't expect Cilic to win the title.
I mean, he saved the match point against Coleman Wong in the opening round.
He did, yeah, but then Cilic also saved the 2 match points against.
I know, but like that was also a representation of this, right? Like Coleman Wong is pretty much the same playstyle as Watanuki.
Yeah. But like after he got through that match, I was like, okay, you know, you should probably get to the. And then also when Runa lost to, you know, Runa lost to Uchiyama, Cilic was there. I was like, okay, like, you know, unless Cilic like plays out of his mind peaks, but well, Cilic, you know, Cilic was a legend that week. So
yeah, I mean, if Uchiyama beats Cilic, then Brandon gets to the final, I think.
You probably
and playing against Triple Z there, 50-50.
Yeah, okay, actually, that's still a little up in the air. Triple Z.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 more or less.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty confident he would have made the final, of course, if Uchiyama defeated Cilic.
Who needs a title more? Runa, Tsitsipas, Medvedev, I mean, all these players have won a title except Medvedev the last 18 months. So probably, and Medvedev only plays the big tournaments. He doesn't play 250s or even 500s, except for like Beijing and like the other ones that the top guys play. But I think Medvedev really needs a title.
Did you see that on the WhatsApp? I mean, James wants to include Draper Berrettini Stuttgart final in the conversation for matches of the year.
Oh, James, no, come on, stop
James
it.
is pretty ridiculous with his bias. That's as if I said Kotov against Watanuki was one of the matches of the year.
But I do think Musetti versus Nakashima in the third round of the U.S. Open.
No, I mean, okay, you're ridiculous too. Never mind. You're all ridiculous.
It's like
You're
me
all
saying
biased.
that
I'm
one
the
was
only objective and neutral observer.
no, but that was 100%. I was only half joking, you know.
Jesus, Vansh, no, that's too much.
Uh,
I think the Olympics final is a little overrated. I really don't get the hype. And Shang Mute also.
well, I think
is
it's just the
ridiculous.
moment, right? Like I mean, the tennis was pretty good too, but the tie breaks, everything. It's
I don't know.
not
I
many
was
people
watching
can
that
do
with
that.
John in the press office in Porto, and I don't know. I just didn't really get the vibe.
Oh. So do you think Alcaraz Sinner was you'd put that ahead? Alcaraz Sinner Beijing, you'd put that ahead of Olympics?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't think it's even close. I'm not saying straight set matches always have to be worse than 3 sets, but it is a factor. And yeah, it's just a more entertaining back and forth battle to me. Like Carlos was so nervous in the Olympic final, and it was impacting the quality of play as well. Like the second tiebreak, didn't he play like, yeah, didn't he like just, I don't know.
Yeah, like 2-all. He didn't win a single point after that.
I'd have to
also
rewatch
Djokovic
that,
had,
but I think
also
he was
Djokovic had
just
like
like
4
wild.
rounds.
Oh yeah, actually Novak had these cross-court
Novak had
forehand.
those ridiculous forehands though in that tiebreak, and then also
Yeah,
one really
so
good
I guess I
person.
do remember good highlights from that match regarding Novak,
And
but
then
I don't
they were
know.
both like
I'm just
kind of
surprised with all the hype that it's getting. It's
I
what I'm
think
saying.
I think Novak had 6 break points. He had 8, and then Novak just played the tie breaks better, really. But I think it's not. I think it's more the storyline of Djokovic winning the gold and then doing and then completing tennis, all that. That just has people like having that be number one. But I personally agree. I think the Beijing final, I would put that ahead. Also just because it's more representative of the year. Those guys split the slams, and then I mean
And it's a better match.
yeah,
I'm
which
putting
is
it
better
not because it's representative or anything, but because it's a better match. By the way, Watanuki might be
look,
about
like
to
it's not like they didn't have their dips. They they did. Like it wasn't always unbelievable quality,
barely.
but it was up there. It was the closest thing we got to their U.S. Open quarterfinal.
Oh, Watanuki might be struggling to get over the line here. That error at 15-all was a bit of a nightmare.
I think the
into
main thing is
open court.
there were just no great best of 5 matches that I can really put ahead of any of these.
Probably, yeah.
So,
And
so
Brandon
that's
should have made the pass at 30-all, and but now he's still. I mean, at 15-30, but now he'll actually have a break point.
yes, he will. I'm watching the point at 30 also. You're a little bit ahead, but
Oh, further ahead than I was on the Alcaraz Shang. Okay, never mind.
But yeah, he just kind of stayed alive with the squash shots.
I mean, I'm already at deuce, but I'm kind of.
French wants to introduce the best matches. I mean, there's so many of them. Like, there's like 7 of them. Honorable mention for Feast in Cincinnati as well. But Watanuki was just on top of the net there and just, yeah, pretty straightforward volley. So he does save it. Actually, John asked this question about who needs a title more, and I'm kind of thinking actually Felix, because if he doesn't defend those Basel points, he could be in big trouble.
Yeah, I mean, without the Madrid final this year in the race, he would be like 50th. So, I don't know if it's really like big trouble. Like even with seedings, he's doing horrible in these events. So what if he's seeded at the US Open or in Shanghai when he's losing to Alexander Miller? Like he might as well be unseeded, to be honest.
Well, I mean,
And
didn't
who's
he
who's
got to
the other
the
option, by the
he,
way?
he did get to the did he get to the fourth round in Paris? I think he got to the fourth round and then he made what third round in Australia.
Runet, Tsitsipas,
Right, right.
Medvedev, Felix.
Yeah,
I like Medvedev in that
yeah.
conversation,
That
to be honest.
that was my pick before, but then I was thinking, oh, Felix will just drop out of the top. But yeah, you're right. Like it kind of doesn't matter with him.
Yeah, like I think obviously for Daniil there's no like ranking reason, just confidence
Yeah.
really, just mentally. Rune as well, you can go there, and Tsitsipas I guess, but I don't know.
By the
Tsitsipas
way,
will
that
probably feel okay not getting a title this year until the end of the season. Like it's probably more important for him to just get wins,
yeah,
get deep runs, rather than
exactly.
actually get a title. Whereas Daniil would definitely love a title.
By the way, this exact point that Botanuki just played to save the break point. That's like
Yeah.
what he did. That's like what he was doing in the first set tiebreak. At least twice in that tiebreak. Well, this was a good return from Brandon. Can he do anything here? No, he really can't because Watanuki responds with a really nice cross-court angle on the top of the net and just like covered it so well. It was very low as well, so Brandon couldn't really get the height over the net as he was trying to get it. But now it's match point. And he gets the first serve and he wins 7-6, 6-3. So it is his second biggest win of his career. After Felix 2023 City Open. And yeah, let's just say this match will not be going in that introduction, John. But
Yeah. This is definitely on Watanuki's best matches of the season list, though.
yeah, it is. It's probably number one. So, well, maybe Holger can go on a run now. Holger or Fritz or Watanuki or anybody really. That section is to me is like kind of wide open.
To be honest with you, I'm pretty stunned by the fact that this is Watanuki's second best win. But yeah, again, it just kind of represents how often he was coming close to the top, because you think of him as a guy to the top guys, because you think of him as a guy who got like many of these wins, right? And
Yeah.
no, I mean, he only had the one against Felix. Otherwise, yeah, just so many close calls where he didn't quite get over the line. Of course, Nakashima isn't quite like, Nori was at the time, or Tiafoe, Fritz, or Hurkacz, but still, I mean, it's clearly one of the best wins of his career, and he's been incredible in Shanghai, basically from the very first set that he played here. And he's going to put Fritz or Atman. I mean, almost beat Fritz last year in Shanghai.
Yeah, if he plays like this, he's definitely going to have a chance against Taylor.
Definitely one of the guys who can kind of make Taylor struggle for balls athletically and everything, and just make him uncomfortable. Yannick Sinner dominating so far against Taro Daniel 6-1. Jakub Menšík looks like he will definitely take this to the deciding set against Rublev.
Yeah.
4-1 double break up. And we also have Shevchenko and Cerundolo still in that second set on serve. Lehečka Munar starting soon. Fils and Shelton playing doubles against Kochov Mektic. And the Tsitsipas bros lost. Damn.
Oh no.
Vansh especially, I know you were extremely pleased with the fact that, they got such an easy draw, Darderi, Tabilo, and they will get on a run. But who needs a title more? Stefanos Tsitsipas in doubles or Stefanos Tsitsipas in singles? Anyway, that's completely irrelevant. I think with that we can basically just wrap up. Any final thoughts about anything we watched just now, or basically whatever? Maybe you can discuss climate change as Nurlan wanted.
No, I don't have too much to say on that, but I will say, I mean, Carlos was just very dominant, 6-2, 6-2. Not as much to talk about there. We already kind of recapped that pretty extensively. Of course, we were also just kind of jumping around, just talking about a bunch of other things related to the chat. We were watching the other matches, some of the more outside courts. They were certainly delivering much more in terms of competitiveness. But I don't know if there's really that much more to say.
Yeah, we did the equivalent of being at an event like Shanghai, you know, live, where you just run from one court to another because something is happening there, and now something is happening there.
Yeah.
And yeah, because we were at home, we actually managed to watch like all 3 tie breaks. And well, thank you guys for your attention as usual. Thank you for all the messages in the chat. And there's a lot more in store for you today in Shanghai, so keep tuning into that. Of course, in about 15 minutes, I think, as well, there's going to be the Beijing semifinals. The first Beijing semifinal between Goff and Badosa, then Muchova Zheng. But on Talking Tennis, that's probably it from us today. Thank you, Vansh. And yeah, we'll see you guys some other time. Oh, actually, I forgot we don't have the producer, so I will just close us out.
Yeah.
Bye.
And you know the drill.
Exactly.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.